Welcome to the Nick Blevins Family Ministry Podcast. Our goal is to help you maximize your church's potential. You'll hear from top leaders in children's, student, and family ministry about the principles and practices they use. Now here's your host, Nick Blevins.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 203 of the podcast. In this episode, we're going to talk all about how you can take your ministry, especially children's ministry, but this is true of any ministry, and put it in a box, so to speak, to empower families at home to continue to engage with the content that your church is creating for them, to partner with you as a church, for parents to lead their kids, but also for kids to take ownership of their own journey there and watch and engage with the content on their own and be motivated to do that, and then speak to parents and talk to parents and kind of be the initiators of that conversation as opposed to maybe just waiting for parents to do that. And this is not new. This is something that is kind of blowing up in a way in the church world, in children's ministry certainly, where ministries are packaging up some of their ministry in a box, sending it to families each month, and then helping them engage with that content at home. And with Ministry Boost, we are doing this in a bunch of our churches. My church is doing it. We are handing out our first box for families for September this coming week, except actually for us, September is going to be a bag, and then we're going to use the boxes that you're going to hear about in this podcast. But Kenny Conley, his church, is doing this. Kenny was one of the drivers of this idea and what to put in it and all that kind of stuff. And this podcast is simply a replay of a webinar we did called Your Ministry Boxed. Many of you probably listened to that. So if that's the case, you're going to skip this episode of the podcast because it's just a replay of that. Although we have more information now that I'll talk about than we had then. So you may not want to skip it just yet. But that'll tell you all about what churches are doing with boxes, how they're using them, what's going in them, what the costs are, things like that. And I'll add some information that we didn't have at the time that we recorded this, and that's about box availability and all of that. Ministry Boost has been able to partner with an organization that doesn't really publicly sell boxes the way you can find them at Pacola or some other sources like that. And because of that, and because we're connecting a bunch of churches together to order in bulk, now you're going to get to order your own custom designed box. Picture a 12-inch by 9-inch by 3-inch tall box. They're all that size. But you can have a custom design, full print on the outside, gloss, really good look. And you'll be able to get those for $375 a box if you buy 100 to 450. If you buy 500 to 950 boxes, like we're buying for all of fall, so we're going to be buying over 1,000. But if you buy 500 to 950, it's $325 a box. This includes tax and shipping and everything. If you buy more than 1,000, like my church is doing, or 1,000 or more, it's $275 a box. I mean, you just can't beat this price. There's nowhere that can get this kind of price. And we're getting it because we're kind of combining together. But if you want to order boxes for October, you have to act fast. So, and again, if you listen to this down the road, no worries. You can order whenever. We're going to keep ordering each month. But if you do want to order for October, and in my case, order October, November, and December together to get the best price, you have to place the order by September 1st. So to learn all about that, the pricing, if you want to get the Ministry Box Bundle, which is a great resource that we're putting together that has all the things that you might want to put in the box. So it's a vision for the box, different strategies, how to distribute them, pack them, the logistics of it, the activities that go in there, the supplies, the communication plan around the box, how you can get volunteers involved to pack them, distribute them, and then even measure the success. All of that is in the Ministry Box Bundle, which you can get at ministryboost.org. Just click on Get Ministry Boxes. You'll be able to get the box bundle there if you're interested in that. You'll also be able to order boxes through our source at any point whenever you listen to this. But if you're trying to get them for October, you have to order by September 1st. So listen to this webinar. We're going to replay that here on the podcast. Check out the site there. You can always go in the show notes at nickblevins.com/episode 203, and we'll link to everything there as well. And I hope it'll help you put your ministry in box, empower families, boost engagement at home when all of us know that has dropped off a bit. This is a cool strategy that a bunch of our churches are doing. And so this podcast will tell you all about it. So listen to the replay of the webinar, and I'll catch you on the other side.
Actually, let's ask our group here that's on a couple questions. I've got a couple polls. Actually, Nick, I think you're going to have to run these polls. I don't have access to them right here. But I think the first poll is we just want to know kind of what your role is. We know a lot of people are joining us for a variety of reasons and a variety of different ministries looking into, the box primarily is being used right now in children's ministries, maybe some people using in youth. But what's your role? Are you senior pastor, executive pastor, family ministry pastor? Do you oversee some aspect of youth ministry, children's ministry? which is probably inclusive of elementary or preschool or those sorts of things. So go ahead and fill that out. Let us know where everybody's coming from. So look at that, overwhelmingly 61% children's ministry, followed closely by family ministry. So a lot of you guys and gals there are in the roles that are specific to this, although there are quite a few executive leadership that are looking into this as well. So that's pretty awesome. Next question is really kind of more of a question about what is your pandemic ministry look like right now? Actually, Nick, next question, I put them in the wrong order, is what does your kind of pandemic ministry look like right now? I know that some of you are still online. You're in a part of the country where you've not done actual gatherings yet. Some of you are maybe doing some in-person gatherings, but it's not like normal church yet. Some of you are adults only in person. And then another one is just like, you're back, you've got children's ministry, you got youth ministry, but what percentage are you seeing back? Are you 25%, 50%, 70%? Are you 100% capacity? Probably not, but I'd be interested. Just let us know kind of, so this helps us gauge too about what the audience looks like. What's that, Kevin?
I was going to say 100% basically means you work for Life Church. That's about it, right? Like, and our friend Allie's not on, so like that's pretty much it. So.
Yeah, now this is good. Look at this. So the results already, you can probably see that, 10% of you are back at 25% capacity, 13% of you back at 50% capacity. A lot of you, the majority, are still online only or only some gatherings. So, and this is actually the reason why we're doing this webinar and why we're exploring this. And this isn't just like something Ministry Boost is doing to, try to resource you guys with. This is actually something that I'm leading at my church right now. I'm in the same boat as you. We just started in-person gatherings last Sunday, adults only, and we're probably still a month out from, or maybe more, from adding kids back. So that's kind of where we are. So here's the last question. You guys, many of you are here because we've been, throwing out this idea of box ministry and things like that. And I know a lot of people have some different experience with that. So some of you are here, like you've not done anything like this before. So just, you're here to learn about that. Some of you maybe did a summer box, or a camp in a box or something like that. Some of you are doing it right now. Like maybe you just launched for this month in August, or maybe some of you're planning on doing this in a month or two. So let us know, where you are right now in this box strategy, this box experience. I'd love to get your, to see what we're dealing with here. So we'll take another second or two to answer that poll question, and we'll see what the situation is like. So I love this. I think we're all kind of in the same box.
Yep.
If I can say it that way. Kevin, are you guys doing a box? Kevin, what's your experience?
No, well, dude, we did some box stuff for Easter, and we've done some like kind of pick up boxes here and stuff like that. I think part of it, I'm sure there's other parts of the country that make it a little bit more complicated too, is even mailing. There's some regulations and like delivering in a lot of gated communities, and some of it's the execution of how do we of these that make it a little bit more difficult. But I know that there's some great local churches around us that did VBS in a box. I think it's awesome. And
right.
And then just kind of resources of that. And I know my daughter got one in elementary, and it's just really cool to feel like, hey, I'm getting this tangible gift, and just excited about what that is. So I'm looking for this. Going to be a good.
That's good. Yeah. And as we've been talking about it, like people are coming out of the woodwork. They're like, oh, box? Did you say box? Like we're looking into it, and some people have done bags. I know some people are doing mailers. It looks like you guys, 50% of you guys are here. You're here to learn. You haven't done one. And others of you have done it recently. Some of you are doing it right now, 10%, 12% planning on doing really soon. So a lot of really great opportunities right here to talk about what we're going to do, and whatever it looks like. We don't have a specific thing of like, this is how it's done. This is something that's being pioneered right now. So so that's a really exciting part about it. I know that Kevin's done, like he said, he did Easter, something like that. I know Nick is getting ready to launch their first box in September. We just launched our first box 2 weeks ago, as we started off this new, the new school year and everything for us. So lots of different people doing that. And here's the reason why, and this is, I think, why this is so compelling. This idea is so compelling, and why there's, several hundred of you on here today, is because we're still in this quasi online world of like, we're not back yet. Like this thing is not over. And for some of us, it's not going to be over for a very long time. And what we've seen is that our numbers have taken a beating. Like, you know, the new attendance is downloads, clicks, and views. And you know, most of us, the rule was across the board, across the country, was that, you know, people stopped viewing. You know, that engagement like completely dropped off this summer for so many churches, and especially and even all through the pandemic for kids and teenagers. Like it was this wasn't working. This digital thing wasn't working. And I know this is something that I noticed personally. This is kind of what drove like the conversation on my team at my church, was that even though many in May and June was when we started talking re-engagement, we started talking regathering, and we started, and churches all across the country were talking regathering, and every single tweet and Instagram post and blog post, everyone's talking about regathering. And Mike, something like what wasn't resonating with me of like, but even as we think about regathering, not everyone's coming back. And not everyone's coming back right away. And if we put all of our eggs in the regathering basket, then what about all those kids that aren't coming back for 3 more months or 6 more months or a year? And we know that what we've been doing isn't working, and we shouldn't assume that, well, maybe when school starts, they'll come back again. And so that it began the conversation of like, maybe it's time to innovate. Maybe it's time to do something else. And so we started, and I started kind of looking around, and I had several friends, ministry friends across the country that were doing a camp in the box, you know, or a vacation Bible school in the box, or other Easter in a box. So all sorts of different things. And so I started paying a lot of attention. I've heard nothing but really good things about how that engaged people. And what was your Easter experience like, Kevin?
I'm in the same boat with you. I think what kind of made it more exciting for us, first of all, is that we realized, like, you know, at the beginning, like everybody thought, oh, this is just gonna be 2 weeks, right? And then we realized, just, man, what are we giving parents? I think that was kind of the, like, what are we getting parents to actually do ministry in their house? I mean, most of us have a background with Orange or with that, but everybody wants to equip parents to better lead their kids, right? Like, we truly believe that parents should be the biggest disciplers of their children. I mean, that's my house and your house and Nick's and all that. But like, I thought the exciting point is, like, we're actually giving something to a parent that's very tangible and not just technology. So it's not just like, hey, click this link and watch this with your kid, which is a little bit more passive, but it was a little bit more active. And we gave, you know, it was for us, our box and Easter had like the kind of the Holy Week aspect of it, like different things to do every day and to be part of that. And so it also was really exciting to try something that would continue to build a bridge with parents. And it also set us apart. I think every church right now has something, you know, you go on their website, and whether it's a direct link to Orange or to whoever, you know, Grow, whatever like curriculum that you use, it's a direct link. But I mean, this is tangible. And I think for us in Easter, the exciting thing is we actually included December. I don't know if we're gonna get into that, but how far back do you go with like who gets a box and deciding that? But for us, we went from like December 15th all the way through March. And the cool thing about that is there may have been somebody who visited us for Christmas and then just got this box in the mail and was able to give this to their kid. And there's some excitement and to be able to get some feedback. So that was our experience, man. And I felt like it deepened the connection of just saying, hey, parents, we value you. And we want to empower you to have these deep spiritual conversations with your kids, with your students, whatever that is, and to be partnered with that. And so it was great. I mean, we did, you know, I mean, for Easter too, we had them. Some of them were delivered, some of them you could pick up. We did end up having some of the content just available for digital, but I think I don't know about you guys, but I really think one reason this is rising is that God is calling the church and calling us as pastors and leaders to innovate, right? And that some of our best ideas are coming out of this pressure. It's like my dad always said, like, no pressure, no diamonds, right? Like this is going to be a season of us of, man, how do we connect better with parents? And I get it, because it's kind of like stepping on the scale right now during COVID. I don't want to see that number, but like this also reveals to us, like, man, how much room for improvement we have to do with connecting with parents and giving them tangible and applicable resources to disciple their kids and to have fun with their kids, you know, like, and so that was kind of our experience with it, man. And I'm excited about this and the fact that we could kind of share some of these resources with other people.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, that's great. I think those are the right questions to be asking, and the experience that you had. And here's the deal. Like, this is, I think, this box idea is an innovation. This is new. Very few churches have done something like this before COVID. And the reality is, I sent an email to a lot of people this morning inviting them to this. And the idea that this subscription box idea is a recent trend over the last, 5 or 6 years. And it's actually, I looked this up. So this is from the web, this is from the internets. It's a $15 billion industry right now. And those were numbers right before COVID. And there's no telling how much that's changed since COVID, since people are stuck at home more. But $15 billion industry, you got things like Stitch Fix and BarkBox and FitFab, FitFab something fun. With Tinker Crate, my son was on Tinker Crate for like a year. And it's interesting that it took a pandemic to kind of help rattle the church of is this an innovation that people are, this is the way that people are engaging with the world around them, or through commerce or whatever. And is there space for this for the church? And I think in our current situation, I think there might be. I think there is, and the results are still, pending for us. But people are excited about this box at our church. But I want to actually introduce a guest here because he's actually been somebody that I've been processing this with all along. I remember it was back in it was April, I think, where my friend Alfred Burgess, he's a family ministry pastor at Sun Valley Community Church here in Gilbert. We've known each other for 10 years, and he's been in Atlanta and Austin. And I remember asking him, because they do Vacation Bible School in a big way at his church, multi-site church. And I remember asking him, what are y'all doing? And he told me, he says, we're doing a box, man. We're doing a box. So he's actually been kind of my partner in crime through this. So Alfred, why don't you introduce yourself? Say hi and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name is Alfred Burgess. And like Kenny said, I'm a family ministries pastor here at Sun Valley. Only been here 3 years out in the middle of the desert. And this whole box idea, as many of you probably know, you have a spouse, a wife, a kid that gets subscription boxes, maybe even yourself. Well, this whole pandemic hit, we delivered stuff for Easter. We delivered like little things of Peeps and did an Easter jam thing for Easter. And we're thinking about, okay, we do VBS. We call it Summer Spectacular. We do it pretty spectacular. It's pretty huge, all 5 of our campuses. And we're thinking, what are we going to do? Whoever thought that this thing would last, 5-6 months, however long that it's going to last. And we're like all kind of talking around, and we're like, I think we're going to do a box. My wife had a Fib Fat Fun box sitting on our kitchen table. She got that box, and it was like, okay, we are all in on boxes. So we decided, hey, what if we delivered boxes to people? What if we delivered all of our people that have come a couple of times since Christmas Eve, because we cut this thing off in March, and we just said, okay, that sounds good. But it was a box, but it also had digital content that we filmed. So I came up with, let me show you this. This is my sample box. This was just a normal box, and I put sticker paper on it. And this was my sample box that I made. And it's like, what if every family gets one of these boxes, they open it up. What about...
Wait, hold on. I have to compare, because my sample box doesn't look anything like your sample box. My sample box is this right here.
There you go.
It was a binder box that we just put some tape, some stickers on it, and then it's full of, let's see if I can open it. It's full of Ziploc bags. So
at least yours opens. Mine is stuck shut. So this is my sample box, and we had them printed. This is my actual real box. So you open it up. There's all kinds of stuff on the inside that you can see, different days for people, a little card, all the different activities, divider. We were blown away by the response. We actually delivered 3,100 boxes.
Wow.
So that's 3,100 families over 5 campuses, like 3 different counties. And by the way, a county in Arizona is like the size of Georgia. Okay. Right. They're enormous. So you think counties, no big deal. No, it's like half the state. We delivered all of those, mobilized volunteers to come and packed boxes, which was amazing. And then they delivered all these boxes. We did all the addresses. It was crazy. But the response.
Well, and I know you told me because you and I had lunch, or no, we didn't have lunch. We were at the same restaurant, and you actually dropped off a box for me. And
Yes.
so here's the thing. This is my prototype box, but when I go to meetings to Cast Vision, I've been walking around. I carry this box to so many meetings. So your box was my vision box.
There you go.
But you told me that, your boxes arrived on Wednesday, right? Tell me, because this was a moment, you might need to talk to your counselor again after today, but tell me what you guys had to do.
All right. So our boxes arrived a late Wednesday evening. We had people showing up Thursday morning and like hundreds of people to pack these boxes. So we're packing boxes from like 8 o'clock in the morning till noon. People start delivering. We continue to pack boxes that day. And we packed boxes on Friday, more boxes delivered. Everyone by Saturday evening, 3,100 families had boxes.
That's insane.
I would not do that again. I have been seeing a counselor since, and most of our staff. We have an incredible staff, volunteer team, but it was amazing where parents are starting on Monday morning with online content. These boxes, a great way to connect families together, where it's not just a kid, it's not just digital. I like what Kevin said earlier. It's not just, hey, click this link that is passive. It's actually activities that you do with your families. We ended up, we had about 3,200 boxes ran. We mailed different boxes to 11 different states because we did a registration also. And we picked up about 228 brand new families in our community that wanted a box, which is percentage-wise, that's huge. So if you look at this, normally for our kind of VBS, with all of our campuses, we do it for 4 days. We have anywhere from 700 to 1,000 kids in there.
Right.
This was 3,100 plus families that we engaged with. And there were some social media things that we did with it.
So very easily, you guys very easily impacted 7,000 to 10,000 plus people or kids.
We said it's about 10 times the reach that we would have at an on-campus event.
Yeah, which makes you wonder, again, next summer, probably not a pandemic to deal with, but the idea is maybe you do in person, but this box thing, it's a game changer, right?
Kenny, what we ask our families, hey, you may be going on vacation this week that we're hosting this, in-person event or even the online event, or you're at your grandparents' house. Take this box and do it on vacation. Do it another week of the year because the content's there online. So we still have people like this week that we can see that engaged with us and used the content. So it wasn't just a week event. We got a lot of traction out of it.
Yeah, and just so people, because I know people, we got lots of people asking Q&A, keep asking questions. Most of the things I've been scanning the questions, we're going to answer all your questions, most of them before you even had to ask. But I'm open up your box here. You had a cup printed, a Sun Valley cup. You've got a magnifying glass here in here for one of your activities. There's a piece of chalk in here, or a couple pieces of chalk here for an activity. There's a ping pong ball and a straw. You got a Lego thing, some printed cards. This was pretty cool. It's like every day you have an activity to do, and you provided the resources for them to just follow along with the idea. So that's, people are asking well, what do you put in the box? This is kind of the idea of like you would normally on a Sunday. You're doing a small group activity that requires a ping pong ball and a straw or whatever like that. So you basically put the activity that they would have done if they were in that activity at Vacation Bible School on Sunday morning. And now you're just giving a prompt for a parent to lead that activity, or even for an older kid to do the activity on their own with a sibling or something, right?
Right. There's some craft material, some printed material, sidewalk chalk. By the way, everywhere is sold out of sidewalk chalk this summer, just in case you need to know. Like this Oriental Trading inflatable Jesus. And I will say, my
that's the best.
Inflatable Jesus was the biggest hit of all summer. And we have preschoolers that this is their new night that they sleep with now. We did a water bottle for preschool families that looks like this. This all came together from from a thought, idea, execution, it took us about 3.5 weeks
Right.
for all of this. So that part of that is why we're all in counseling.
Yes.
Can I jump in real quick and just, I know we're gonna get some of this, but like, so looking at some of the Q&A and some of the questions, people are asking like, hey, budget stuff, how do I do this if I don't have a large budget? And like, man, even if it's whatever, how much it is a box and then mailing and all of that stuff, such great questions. I'd take a minute and just kind of share what I did, but I'd love to hear what you guys are doing, because it feels like you're doing on a bigger scale than what we did. Is I know for, as we're looking into this, we're trying to be intentional of just saying like, hey, the list that we're sending may be a little bit shorter. It's not for somebody who just came once 7 months ago or something like that. We're trying to do that. We're also, I think, looking at from an XPC, I'm looking at this budget and just saying, hey, man, the amount of money that I'm spending on weekly stuff to happen in kids ministry, because we're not open right now, is I'm actually shifting some of those funds to doing things that are connecting with this. And to be honest, like at the end of even like our last 6 months, we're way down because our operating budget for kids or for students has been down because we haven't had to pay for stuff. So shifting it like that. But we've also done it where like maybe you have them available and somebody can pick them up. So you're not talking about mailing. I know for Alfred, even you saying 3,000, I can't imagine like how many of those would have come back from the postal office because maybe your database isn't up to date.
Mm-hmm.
How did you guys look at those kind of things to make sure that like, hey, to me it made more sense of like, hey, maybe I'm starting small. Maybe I'm starting with parents that are serving or parents that are on we call our kind of volunteer leaders, our dream team, maybe starting with those or starting with a key thing. Because this is a little bit more on the equipping side than just the advertising side, correct? Like, I mean, there's an advertising component to that for sure, because it's a great gift and then that parent likes it and then they take a picture and put it on Instagram or tell some of their other like mom friends or dad friends about what your church is doing. But like, really, this is more of a equipping tool than just a shotgun, let me send 3,000 out to, I mean, if you're on a budget or it's restructuring and saying instead of the goldfish and animal crackers and how much we spend on wifeys a year and all of that stuff has been, really cut back. Is it adjustment? I mean, I'd love to hear from you of just saying, hey, maybe I'm a smaller church and I'm trying to figure this out. Where do I start? Do I start small? Is it more of like view it more as an equipping thing, or is it an advertising thing? Or are we more selective, or are you guys kind of using it to like an advertising component as well? Maybe you go to, I know for us, we were going to like people that handle some of our creative and marketing and all of that and using this to reach families. So we were able to move some money into other budgets. So I'd love to, does that make sense? Kind of asking those questions.
Yeah, those are great questions. Alfred, why don't you kick that off and I'll answer what you don't answer.
All right. So budget wise, for what we put in our boxes, because doing that many, you multiply, I mean, even a few dollars multiplied over that many boxes. What we put in our boxes, preschool costs us $1.75 for the contents, for all the contents. And K3 cost us $1.50 for the contents. So and that played into our normal rhythm of what we would spend, kids ministry, budget, activities on the weekends, all those supplies. We just diverted that budget into the boxes. The only extra money that we had to come up with, about half of it, was the cost of the boxes and getting them actually designed and shipped here. So we learned a lot through that whole process. But those boxes were pricey. Those boxes were almost $5 a piece
Right.
in there. So, but they're huge. Okay, they're huge. We did have some scholarship funds that we would normally use for summer camps that we didn't do summer camps this year. So our board said, hey, you can definitely use those funds to fund the boxes for all of these families. So I wouldn't think that, these boxes are going to cost X amount of dollars. I would think, hey, what do I have in my normal operating budget that I can work with in order to meet these families? And the families, our criteria that we use was, hey, everyone comes twice. We're actually doing some newer boxes, and that criteria is a little different. It's smaller. It's anyone that's come 4 times, basically between Christmas and March when we cut things off, and then anybody that's new that engaged with us with Summer Jam. So there's some financial answers for you, but we didn't spend a whole lot with the contents of the actual box.
Right. And we did the same thing. We once pandemic started, we went through our data and started making sure that like all of our rosters were accurate and cleaned up our rosters. Anyone that we considered that was in a small group from preschool all the way through high school. And then all through the pandemic, we were sending out regular, like we would send out postcards. We would call, text, connect with families. And anytime we would send out postcards, anytime we got a return postcard, we would call that family, get an updated address. So we had been doing some of the work over the pandemic to make sure that our rosters were up to date and addresses were correct and things like that. So we chose to do our boxes. We did 500 boxes when we launched this last month. And those are from 3-year-olds through 6th grade. Those are kids that we consider to be in a small group, meaning they probably have come 2 or 3 times minimum or more in the last 6 months before we shut things down for the pandemic. And the same thing, we have a budget. Like every month we're spending money on curriculum, for the supplies that we have and things like that. And so the box expenses that we have, like right now, I think this month we did our boxes and we did the same thing. We got about $1.50 in materials in the box, and then we have the cost of the box. And so we're going over budget from what we normally spend a little bit, but also our church is looking at it. They're looking at engagement. They're looking at, the other things, and they're like, we need to invest some in this area. And so, because I went to the management team said, I don't have the budget to fully do this. And they're like, of all the things that we're doing as a church right now, this feels like one of the most important things we should do as a church and could do as a church. So that's a meeting when I walked in with Alfred's box and say, here's what we could do. And immediately the room, jaws on the table, like, yes, that's it. And that's a great way to do that. And actually I was in a meeting yesterday, a management team meeting yesterday. And, because we started having some kind of wild conversations of like, as we open up and come back, for most churches, the front door of your church is your Sunday morning experience or your weekend experience. But right now, when churches are coming back at 20-25%, maybe the front door isn't the weekend experience. And somebody threw out the idea, like, what if it's a box? Like, what if we as a church, like we bought a mailing list of all the homes within a, 1 mile radius of our church? And what if we put a box on every one of those doorsteps? What if we made the box the front door to our church, or like start thinking differently about this? And it's I have to be honest, I haven't been this excited about ministry in a long time, because we're innovating. We're thinking about how do we reach our community? How do we connect with kids and families in a way that we haven't ever done before? So that's and I know people, a good friend, John Burkmeyer, he's a Next Gen pastor in Gainesville, Florida. They started right when COVID started. They started creating a mailing packet. So they just got a big manila envelope and they stuffed it with stuff and they started mailing it out to all their families. And I think he said it cost about like $3 every month to mail out that packet. And that included the postal and everything that was in it. I know some people that are mailing their boxes, but we just delivered. We did a Sunday from 9 to noon pickup party where we had about 100 families come up and pick up boxes. And then we did additional pickups on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday afternoons where we had about another 50 or 60 families come pick up. And then we had about 20 volunteers deliver the remaining boxes on Wednesday and Thursday, or Thursday and Friday of that week. I did one batch, I delivered 15 boxes, took about 45 minutes. My lead pastor, he threw his whole family in the car and they delivered about 20 boxes. And he said, I knocked on every door, and the expression on people's faces when they saw their lead pastor at the door or whatever. And he said, I loved it. It was a way to connect with people that I haven't been able to connect with in a long time. And it really, we're not engaging our volunteers right now. So it has not been easy to get 50, 60 volunteers to come in and help us pack boxes. And our first box was challenging because it was the first time we ever did it. But we're already we have to have our boxes ready to go 2 weeks from tomorrow for September. And it's a breeze this month. Like we're just following the template from last month. now we're actually recruiting, instead of this being like this extra thing we do of like, hey, we need to find some volunteers. We're raising up a coach, and we're raising up volunteers that they show up every Tuesday from 2 to 4. And we've got box related stuff for them to do. And then we've got people that are saying like, hey, every month I'll deliver. And so it's becoming part of our routine and system. So it's
let me like, Kenny, as your Enneagram 7, you're going to talk for an hour. So let me go back to myself as a 3, because I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, listen, like how you do this. If I can ask you guys some pretty quick questions. And I'm looking at the chat and the Q&A. Nick, you can feel free to jump in too. Are you doing per kid, or are you doing per family?
We're doing family.
And we're doing per kid because it's different age groups.
Okay.
So we do it per kid.
Okay, and you were going to provide the company and stuff that we're getting a way to get boxes to people. Here's a great question too. Have you guys ever tried registering for a box, of maybe like promoting it through social media and saying, hey, if you guys want to sign up, hey, family's going that way. We're doing that in more of a registration kind of way to kind of limit that down and try to. I got another question. I mean, is Next Gen the only ministries in your church that are doing this? Like, I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, you could have a man box, a woman box, like those kind of things in those kind of things for men's ministry, women's ministry. Because here's where I'm asking is, man, then it's shared expense across departments, right? Like, it's, hey, how do we do this in a way, that can help.
Hey, Kevin, to answer that question, I have like this box here, about this size box. We're doing baptism at home at the end of this month, and everyone's registering for baptism, video, all of that, and they're getting a baptism kit with T-shirt, how to do stuff, all the information.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they're getting delivered baptism kits. So yes, it's more than just Next Gen ministry that people are getting in on this. And the thing has been like, hey, can I drop off a bag? Would that be better? A box? There is just something with the box that elevates that experience, and kind of with the subscription box. And you're like, man, somebody's dropping off a box, almost like a present at your house. And you're like, hey, what's inside here?
Yeah. Would one of you guys be able to share, like part of this is our kind of viewers want like the practical stuff. Is there any, like your registration links, or just so somebody can take a look at it? And please, if you're watching this, don't order one across the country, so, that send you once,
Hey, I'll share, this is be really easy. We launched, during pandemic, we launched a website for parents here at Mission. It's called missionparents.org. So if you want to go there, and on the front page, you'll see it. So we have a kind of a blog and featured post. And one of them says, how do I get a box? Because we've been talking about the box, and it's just a form. You just fill out the form. And if you want to read through it, there's a couple different things on, where we describe what's in the box. But we've made it like we have our curated list of families we think need a box, and we pack our boxes unique. So like Alfred, they've created a preschool box and an elementary box. We just call it our Next Gen activity box, and we pack it like we have a list of how many kids at what age groups they have in each box, and we've got all our activities separated into packets. And so then we just put the number of packets that need per box. So every box is custom packed for each family. It saves us a little bit of money.
Do you have any like pictures of, I'm just saying for more of it, some of the people are hey, what goes in that? Maybe it's an inventory list of what that. And I think the other question finally is, man, how do you measure success from that? Like there's a fellow Enneagram 3 in that of asking like, hey, this is great, but if it's just an entertainment and my kids look at it and it just sits on the table, I mean, how do you as an organization measure, is that successful? And I think a second question I have in there is there a secondary action step to that? So in the box, is there a sheet of paper that talks, hey, if you want more stuff about kids or students or parents or signing up for groups, or, hey, if you've got any thoughts of like, hey, this was great, or about, like part of me too is this collaboration, but also the evaluation stuff of in that. So how do you define a win in this?
Hey, you asked a million questions there, but let me share you this. Let me share you
5 minutes to answer them all. I
know. Let me share you my box. There's my box that we got. It's being printed right now, and it's being delivered in a week. I did not. Well, I did. It is. That's why we spell Next Gen in Arizona.
Yeah.
So that's our custom box. I've got another box here too. I think Alfred, it's the box that you're ordering.
It's a beautiful box.
Oh, sorry, just unshared. Let me reshare that real quick here again. This is a version of Alfred's box. Alfred's doing a box similar to this. It's a little bit unique.
So
Our graphic designer.
Canva? You're going to design it through Canva?
No, our graphic designer did this for us because it's in it needed to be in an Adobe Illustrator file, vector art, and things like that. There's one other box that we have that we have designed that we're not using it right now, but it's a pretty cool design that we may use for future months. So, practical side of things, there's a cost savings when you order in bulk. So we ordered. Alfred and I actually just went in together and we just ordered 10,000 boxes. He's at a much larger church than I am, but we were able to, by ordering 10,000 boxes, we get a much better price on boxes. And these boxes for me are going to be September, October, November, December. So I'm getting 4 months of boxes. I think, Alfred, you're doing the same thing. You're doing 3 or 4 months, and we'll design a new box for January and we'll do another 3 months. So that's one way to think of like, well, I can save money by ordering, ordering a lot of boxes at once.
So what's the win? Alfred, for you, as a Next Gen pastor, what's the win for you at Sun Valley?
All right. One, in our boxes, you ask about how to determine if it's successful. We put specific links in our boxes to our content. There's regular links on our website. We put special links that goes to the same content. We can just track that to the digital content. And then we ask parents, hey, if you want to share pictures of your kids online, hey, here's some things to tag with, and you see the traction of that. But what we're asking them, hey, here's the step that we want you to take this month. Here's the step that we want you to do with your kid. And let us know about that. And here's how you can do that. Whenever people get those boxes, like what starts clicking on, we're like, okay, we're actually engaging families. There's hey, people come on a weekend and then we send them home with like things to do at home. And you may know that, you may not. This is like, we're actually engaging families and they're engaging with our content, engaging with these boxes, engaging with the activities, and they're telling people about that. There's not like a number, hey, we want half of our people to engage. We're just like, okay, are we connecting there?
Yeah. And I'll say, and here's something that we're excited about. We're getting ready to experiment with it in our September box. In the same way, we're tracking the same thing. Like we've seen what our video views have been over the last 3 months. So we know what our average is right now. Now that we've done boxes, we're pointing to the same videos and we're seeing our views all of a sudden start to accelerate like we haven't seen in a long time. Now, here's actually something we're really excited about. And this next week, we're prototyping it and getting it all together. For our September box, every box is going to have a QR code on the inside, stuck to the inside of the box. That QR code will link them to all the content for like the video, digital content, all those sorts of things. And that QR code is unique to that family. So if you get one of these boxes and you scan that QR code or use the link below it, then as a church, this sounds very Big Brother, sounds a little, Cambridge Analytica maybe, but I actually know what day you watched a video in our church. So, and I've been presenting this way, this is the new attendance. We don't have kids coming to our church that we can track that they're engaging with us. But if I know that every week or, every 3 weeks, or it makes me even wonder, like once we come back to church, like we've all seen attendance trends drop, that kids are coming, once a month or twice a month, like that's the new normal. But what if they have a box as well and they show up once a month, but they engage on their box 3 times a month? Then like we're actually better able to track how our kids are engaging in the church. And so we don't have it all figured out yet, but within the next week or two, we're going to experiment. So that way we can actually track. And it's probably going to be an administrative nightmare of somebody tracking like, okay, this code engaged this week and what code is this connected to in a family? But we're super excited. And so for us, our measurement is we want to see engagement go through the roof, because now we're engaging them in a offline way that pushes towards both online and personal interaction. But also we want to see where we can drill down and see, are families actually logging in and watching the videos? All
right. So this is a really, really good idea. I think people are really excited, but with every great detail, there may be some things that may not work so well, or there may be a little bit of a draw. It's kind of like it's kind of like Kenny in a tuxedo. It looks great, but you know that you get past it, there's going to be something that just doesn't quite work. Is there anything that you guys are sitting there that it's just, it like there's maybe a draw, or like, hey, I'm doing this, but this is what we learned in the last few months that you've got to be cautious of, because
Yes.
Yeah, go for it.
Never mail boxes. You will destroy your budget by mailing boxes.
Right.
All right. Just hands down. Second thing is, if you're delivering boxes and they're to apartments, make sure you have like the building number and the name of the apartment complex. If it's a gated community, I think I hopped a few fences and ran from animals here trying to get into communities to deliver boxes on your
I'd
registration.
love to see that.
It was amazing. And I took my kids with me, so I'm teaching them how to be criminals.
Yeah.
If it's gated, I got to jump in. If it's gated, there's probably a security camera. Can we get some of that footage?
Yeah.
love to.
Yeah.
They're
Nothing like teaching them that's getting a little B&E.
Like get the gate code. But the best thing out of all of this, we were enabled to engage some of our volunteers to help with boxes, to help deliver also. We were able to engage them, and we want to continually on a monthly basis keep them engaged, because we are going to regather, and those are our volunteers. And if we disengage with them over the pandemic, they're not going to be there whenever we regather. So how can we engage for them, take care of them? Our delivery drivers, we gave them a gas card for that. Our people that came and packed, we did lunch in a pandemic weird way. But those things we did really well. There are some terrible learnings. It's like, make sure that you order all of your supplies for the boxes well in advance, because when you're ordering larger quantities, people are inevitably out of them. And some of the things like sidewalk chalk. I drove hours and hours to pick up sidewalk chalk because you couldn't order it online because everyone's sold out. With that, also a learning, make sure that you're clear in what you want parents to do with the box. Not just the activities in there, but what's the one big thing that you're asking them to do with that? Because our fall boxes we're better with. Some of our summer boxes we weren't that clear with.
Right. That's good. Hey, let me show you. Let me go practical on mine as well. So, and some of the questions that people ask, like what's in the box. So I'm gonna share this with you a second. So every kid got one of these, and so it has the age group challenge card, which I'm gonna explain in a second. And then there's some fun stuff. Our preschool one had a stamper and a keychain in it. Our K third one had squeezy ball, stress ball, and some stickers and things like that. Then we had a curriculum packet. And then we actually had our craft packet, our activity packet. So the curriculum packet kind of explained what they did every week, and then this had all the supplies that they needed in here. And the way we divide it, this is a kind of a philosophy idea that we came up with. This is our challenge card. The idea is, what I think most of you, if you are a parent, you already realize this. You're already thinking through this is what parents are saying. That a lot of parents are going to roll their eyes and say, "I don't need one more thing to do." Like, thanks a lot for just giving. Like, why don't you next week? Why don't you drop off a goldfish, on our doorstep as well? Like, it's just
a recorder.
Yeah, one more thing. So what we did was we figured if we could get kids excited about this, then let them drive the box. So in a lot of ways, instead of like all the curriculum that we've written, it's not written to a parent. It's written to the kid. And so the idea is we tell the parents, like, your kids can drive this box. Now, they may need help with reading. They may need some help with some activities. But for the most part, they're being driven to this. So every kid gets a challenge card. And the challenge card gives each kid 3 things to do each week. There's a watch it, which is the video content that we've been producing all year long or using from our curriculum providers. There's the do it, which is the activity. And then there's a talk about it, which is a question. Instead of giving a parent a question like, hey, ask your kids this, we actually are giving the kids a question to ask their parents, and then to turn around and parents ask their kids. So we're actually letting the kids drive the process. So 3 things every single time a kid does those 3 things, they mark off their stars. It's kind of like a chore chart. They can put this on the refrigerator. It's not magnetic, but it looks like it. And then there's 3 things each month that they do as well. There's a memory verse, like 1 Zoom call, and then a family activity. And that's all in our curriculum content and things like that. And then at the end of the month, when the kids come to pick up their next month box, they get a special prize for completing their challenge card. And so this is deriving it for us. So I feel like that's we use Orange curriculum. So we've kind of modified the Orange curriculum the way we do every single Sunday to make it appropriate for those groups and things. And I think, Alfred, you're doing kind of the same thing. And we're letting parents be the small group leaders, but also letting kids with their older siblings or their younger siblings, like, read it and do it together. And parents, we do it at our dinner table, and it's been fun. The kids look forward to doing it every week, and it's a lot of fun. So let me wrap up with a couple of thoughts and ideas, because a ton of questions. I think this is the most questions we've had asked of any time we've done a webinar. Which is awesome. So here's the deal. This is where Ministry Boost comes into play. Ministry Boost exists to resource churches and all those sorts of things. We have a team right now that is putting together, we're calling it our Ministry Box bundle. About every 3 months, we release a new bundle. The last one we did was a new ministry retention or new family retention bundle. And so we're putting together this bundle now, because a lot of you asked of, like, what does it look like? What do you put in it? How do you use the curriculum? What are the best gadgets to put in it? How do you use a QR code? How do you do all that stuff? It's all going to be in the bundle, okay? It's all going to be in the bundle. It's going to be, now we actually won't put the curriculum in it because we license that from Orange, so that would be against our license to do that. But we'll show you, we'll put some dummy material in there so you can see exactly how we're doing it.
For $20 extra, we'll give you the cup.
Yeah. But we're gonna release, we're not ready to sell this bundle yet. We've got a whole bunch of irons in the fire, but I think on Monday that page will go on there. But for $25, you're gonna get the bundle, everything. We're actually gonna even give you about 5 box templates too. So if you want to have your own box printed, we got a graphic designer creating some really awesome boxes that you can print yourself as well. So that way you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I didn't. I started reaching out to everybody, grabbing boxes. Even Alfred, he didn't show this, but it was a Shake Shack just put out a box. He's been buying boxes to see what they're doing. Yeah, there's your Alfred. How much was that Shake Shack box?
It was $79 for a camp box for Shake Shack with 6 different bags of junk in it. $79.
$79, and they sold out. They sold out. So here's the thing. So some of you are thinking, like, we don't have the budget to support this. You know what? In the same way that you probably charge some sort of fee for your kids to go to Vacation Bible School, whatever like this, I don't think that parents, like, if you want to do a pickup only and it's $5 a box or $10 a box, your parents are going to do it. Like, they're going to see value in this. And so it's very doable. So we're going to have all this stuff in the bundle, resource ideas, some of our favorite gadgets and gizmos that we put in the boxes, where we printed stuff. We're going to list a supplier of all the different places you can go to have your boxes printed. So because there's a lot of options, but that's the second thing we're going to actually present too, because I saw one or two of you actually ask this, of how do you take advantage of this deal? Because, like, Alfred, you and I are ordering 10,000 boxes. We're getting a killer rate at that. And the box company that we found is not a box company you'd find by Googling it. It's actually an old friend of yours who they actually print the Fit Fab Fun boxes, right? It's like their clients are high-end clients. And so we're getting a really good deal with them because we're going in to do an order of 10,000, and they don't care that half the order is printed for my church and half the order is printed for your church. They're just happy to print 10,000 boxes. So we're really excited about this. We actually want to pass the opportunity on to all of you as well. So we're actually putting together an order for October. So I think the 1st of September is when it's going to be due, that if you want to order any quantity of 100, it's got to be a minimum of 100, we're going to have a set price for that. We're going to have a quantity if you want to order 500, or then a quantity of 1,000 and more. And we've done the market research, looked at all, like Pacola is a great company, Uline is a great company, lots of different ones out there. The prices we've been put together has been about $1 cheaper per box than all those other companies. And the reason is because we're going to place an order for about 10 to 20,000 boxes for October. So if you want in on that, we're going to send you an email in the next day or two, and you can RSVP to be on that order. We'll provide, if you don't have a good graphic designer, we'll provide you with some great box ideas. If you want to do it however you want, we're going to pass the savings on to you. We'll have the pricing all on there as well of what it costs, but on average, it's about $1 cheaper per box to do this combined thing. So, and we're actually even looking into doing all sorts of new things, like even an Advent box. What a great thing to do for the Christmas season. So you may be thinking that may be our entry into boxes, is like, let's do something around Christmas or things like that. So we're going to share all this information with you and provide you all the resources. And so you're on here, you use your email. We're going to send it to you that way as well. Nick, Kevin, Alfred, any final thoughts? It's been an hour. It's been a fast-paced hour. Anything major things that we missed?
No, I think go ahead, Nick.
I just wanted to add real quick. I know a lot of this wasn't necessarily asked, and Kenny, I was in the chat. I don't know if you even said this, but I would encourage you to order for like the fall, so that you got to order by September 1st. So it's gonna be a quick turnaround, and that'll be for October boxes. And I know at my church we're gonna order October, November, December together, right? So we get the best price. And then Monday is when you'll get an email about the bundle that Kenny's talking about, with all the templates and files and instructions for how to do this and ideas and different things like that. And then the Monday will also be when you can start the process of ordering your box, submitting the design. You don't have to order the bundle to order the boxes through us. It's like They're two separate things, but of course we're going to encourage you to do both, because it's a lot easier to take the bundle and all the headache. We don't have time to go through the headache Kenny had a couple weeks ago with some mistakes in box planning and packing and things like that. But they're two separate things. So we'll have all that Monday, and you're in this webinar, so you'll get that email.
Yeah. And somebody
did ask, just to confirm, if you go in on this order with us, yes, you get to custom order your box. Like it'll be your design, your church social media, whatever you want on that box. It'll be our printer. If we have 50 different churches going on this order, they'll print 50 different. Here's the deal: it's all the same box. It's a 9 by 12 by 3 inch box. It's the box that Alfred's holding. Say something, Alfred, so you come up on the screen.
All right. So this right here, this box, this is the size of it. So what we've already done, because our churches are ordering also, we already purchased all the dies for this, and a die is actually what cuts the box size. And the box company that we're working with, our friends there, said, hey, we'll give you the same price for everybody. And we're like, okay, and that price includes shipping. And I was shocked, because you can't find that anywhere, but it is this size box. It's not like that Summer Jam box, the larger one. It is this box exactly here, just printed with all of your church information. An outside
print.
Yeah, and so, hey, just to follow up as we close, because I know that I see there's people dropping too. If you guys have questions along the way, and we want to be able to answer them, we know that we're doing our best to answer these in here, whether it's financial, like, hey, how do you think you can approach this? Like, I love that aspect of maybe giving you, like, I'd be happy to answer any of those questions. You can email any of us. It's Kevin@ministryboost.org, Kenny and Nick at ministryboost.org, and we want to help you guys in this. I think it's really great. There's a lot of questions. And this is going to be a really good resource for you, for your families, and for different ministries, even across your church. So it's a big win, and we just want to help you guys. So thank you so much for your time and all that stuff. It's great. Alfred, you're the best, man. It's good to see you, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Good seeing you guys.
This whole webinar has been recorded. It'll be posted in probably later today or tomorrow. And so if you want to watch this with your team, you want to show this to your pastor, so that way you can help them understand, what all's in there. And then access to the bundle, which has everything. And some of you have asked to see that challenge card again. This is the best I can do it. But the challenge card, templates to the challenge card will be in the bundle as well. It's super simple. I designed it on Canva. I'll share the Canva design with you. If those will be in the bundle. And all that information will be available to you really soon. So hopefully that helps, man. I'm excited. Nick, you want to close us out?
Sure. I think we said everything. We'll send that email out Monday. A lot of people asked about prices. We are like 99% sure we know what the price is, but we got to communicate one more time with that company, make sure we got things settled. And it will be cheaper, the more boxes you get. So start thinking about now how many you're going to order, your design. We'll give you the template file for that. We'll even give you if you get the bundle, you'll get 5 or so pre-designed templates where you could just get your logo in there and then you're done. So there'll be a lot of help with that. So we'll send that all on Monday. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great day.
Well, there you have it, a replay of the Your Ministry Boxed webinar where we talked all about how churches are using this strategy and what that looks like. And again, in the intro, I gave you some more of the details that we didn't have then, including the pricing, as cheap as $275 a box. if you get 1,000 or more boxes. One of the big questions that comes up a lot is, if I get, 500 boxes, can I get 3 different designs? You can, but you're not going to pay the 500 box price, because the idea is that the price breaks are because it's the same design printed over and over again, which saves money for this distributor. If you did 3 different designs, it'd be like 3 different orders of 150 or whatever the math is you're going to do on that. And you'd pay the $375 price. So there's a big advantage using one design for multiple months, ordering as many as you can get to get the best price. But whether you're listening to this when it comes out or down the road, you can go to ministryboost.org, find ministry boxes there. Right on the homepage is where it is now. And you can order ministry boxes and get that bundle. If you're interested in the bundle, it's $25. It'll be $99 in a few weeks. So if you listen to this down the road, it's $99. But if you listen to this when it comes out, you can get it for $25, and then you don't have to redo a lot of the work that you would do if you're going to implement this in your church. So as usual, you can get all the links and notes at nickblevins.com/episode 203. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. A lot of the episodes we have coming up are talking with children's and student ministry leaders who are in the midst of leading right now in their ministries, some online only, some in person, some both, some were in person, but then have pulled back. So we've had a number of conversations here recently about that, as well as some conversations about digital ministry. So whether you're meeting in person or not, we're talking about what's it look like to do children's ministry, student ministry, next gen ministry online. So make sure you subscribe. You'll never miss one of those episodes, and I'll catch you the next time on the Family Ministry Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Nick Blevins Family Ministry Podcast. We hope this helps you maximize your church's potential. We would love to hear stories of how you apply what you've learned. You can do that by leaving a comment on iTunes or in the show notes at nickblevins.com.